YouTube, I'm back with a new video game, actually one from my old childhood. I'm going to be playing a new playthrough through Pokemon Colosseum. Let's make our character and start the game. It's been a long time since I saw this opening. There it is, explosion. Still one of the best openings in Pokemon history, in my own opinion. Funny thing, actually, I was reading on the developers of this game, and I learned that the creators of this game, actually, when they were assigned this project, they do not a single thing about Pokemon at all. But I still think they did a good job despite that challenge. Now it's time to start off our adventure in the Ouray region, which I'm curious if it's actually canon to the Pokemon world or not. Trudley and Folly. I know we're going to see them later on. I think we're actually about, if I'm remembering correctly, we're about to have our first Pokemon battle here. Authorities made an announcement on the mysterious building that exploded in the echolocation. It was Team Snagum's hideout. Team Snagum's gang of Pokemon abductors who have already been marked for arrest. The hideout was discovered only as a result of the explosion. By the time police arrived, the ruined building had already been abandoned. The cause of the explosion is under investigation and should become apparent eventually. Well, the media definitely got there quickly. Yep, that was right. First Pokemon battle. I believe this guy actually only has 2 Zigzagoons. And of course we're going to lead with 2 Johto Eevee evolutions. I remember back in, I think it was Silver, Gold, and Crystal. Espeon was considered one of the most overpowered psychic types. That wasn't Mewtwo. Tail Whip. Alright, it's gonna lower my defense. But I also just remembered frickin' Generation 3, the proper physical special split isn't in the game yet. So all dark moves are special attacks, which means I'm doing a special attacking bite with Umbreon. That's the first battle. And that was a critical hit. My teacher skills in the Phoenix City, it's about west of here. You'll find trainers who are way better than me there. You should go out there and get some battling right Yeah, actually, it's next location I should go to. Phoenix City. I love sitting on Brianna, to be honest, just sitting there in the second cart. See, it's not scoring. Makes it tough to hold on. Ow. Folly. I forgot I actually should check the natures of my Umbreon and Espeon. Quirky, so he doesn't have any buff or debuff. Careful. Ah, it's horrible for Espeon. He's gonna buff its special defense, but lower its special attack. Alrighty, well, that's what I got to work with. And Secret Power. This shouldn't knock it out. If it does, I'll be amazed, which it doesn't. You know, I keep on doing a lot of research on this game too. Apparently, it's still labeled as one of the hardest Pokemon games to complete. I mean, for me, it wasn't too hard. I mean, growing up as a kid, the one thing I had a hard time against was one of the very first admin bosses. But other than that, I didn't have a whole lot of a hard time. Well, no, I did actually have a hard time against him, Lady Venus, and Ian. Alright, and then this is where we get the, I guess you could say, companion of the game. Alrighty. Next, we have to go to the mayor's office. And she is going to be the most crucial part of this game. In a way, if you want to put, I guess that's a way to put it that way. Alright, heading to the mayor's house. I really love this theme song. DT's not upstairs. I was up there earlier. It is? That explains why I didn't see him. young lady like you. Peculiarly Pokemon, no, that's not quite right. What I saw was a Pokemon that gave off a black aura. It was like fighting a machine, and that Pokemon would attack people. Now it's time to start one of the probably the third battle of the game. Come in here. Oh, and actually, a lot of people don't like to talk about this, or either don't talk about it or don't know about it. But there's posters here of certain Pokemon from the Ruby, Sapphire, Silver, Crystal. On the left-hand side, you can see there's a Groudon and a Feraligatr, and then on the right, you can see there's a Roselia, and that does look like a Pokemon on the one underneath it. But I thought that was interesting. I actually always like that attention to detail. I wish I could read what was on the text next to those posters, but probably just a bunch of gibberish. Alright, so I actually do it. Alright. Yeah, so stadium challenges are not up right now, so and time to battle Team Snag. Alrighty. One shot of coughing. Sorry if you guys hear noise in the background. Oh, well, that was actually convenient. Not convenient enough. Actually, I've played this game hundreds of times, and I don't once remember Secret Power having a chance of lowering accuracy. And now we gotta go find some Pokeballs. have to edit out some audio recordings on this. They have all Pokemon generations 1 through 3 in this game. Now, unfortunately, they're not actually available unless you're using like cheat codes to give you said Pokemon, which I can do. I can actually go on and get an AR code that'll let me snag a Shadow Charmander. Technically, yes. Or sending Pokemon over from Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, or Emerald. Because it's just how the game was made, and even in nope, you have to. The only thing you could do is steal Shadow Pokemon from people, and those are very specific kinds of Pokemon. Actually, that was one of the biggest complaints about this and its sequel was the lack of Kanto Pokemon that were available. Yeah, I said Kanto. Yeah. You mostly see Generation 2 and 3. Now, you can see people using Kanto Pokemon, such as Sandslash and Geodude and Golem and stuff like that around the game, but they're not Shadow. Not without using cheats. Yeah, that's what I actually was saying. But honestly, nonetheless, I love the game. I love the story. I always thought it was an amazing story that they told. And it was a very first look at a... Huh? Yeah. And actually, if when you beat the game, you could unlock different types of double battles as a side thing. There's a lot of content put in this game for how old it is. And it's really, really focused heavily on how VGC battles were back in the day. And they've given me a run for my money. They are very challenging. There were some strategies, even in the storyline, that are very hard. There's one that focuses on Earthquake, one that focuses on Attract, making you have to switch your team around so you don't have just male Pokemon. I believe there's a trainer on Mount Battle that has a Charizard. I might be wrong on that, though. Actually, I don't even think you really see any of the starters. I know in a modded version of Pokemon XD called Pokemon XG Gale of Darkness, you actually do get a Shadow Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. Keep in mind, it's a modded fan-made game, though. Yeah. I just gotta get the codes for him. Yeah, you can. He's actually one of the first Shadow Pokemon you could get as a Croconaw. You could get Quilava, Croconaw, or Bayleaf towards the beginning of the game as one of the first Shadow Pokemon. You actually cannot get them as a Shadow Pokemon at all. But that's why people actually made modded versions of these games, not only to add more Shadow Pokemon, but to add more variety from different regions with Kanto and just all three of them. Technically, yes, but that requires a Game Boy Advance with a GCN cable and a copy of Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire. He's in the game's coding. Every Pokemon's in the game's coding from generations 1 through 3. Every Pokemon. So you just have to trade them in. This is still my favorite character in the game. That's Mirror B. He's based off of Michael Jackson. Well, mostly because of his theme song, and his party consists of 4 Ludicolo. Yeah, I know. I've already got my alarm set to wake me up for it. It is 6:48. Oh, 7 o'clock UTC time. I think that's what it said. Did it say 7 o'clock UTC? I'll have to check again, but I think it's 7 o'clock. Yeah. And he switched his party around. He's got a Lotad now. That's the Pokemon that they have you start off with. Yeah, they have you start off with Umbreon, Espeon as part of the story. Those are literally your starter Pokemon. And it's actually, I'm not sure what the lore behind it is. I never looked that deep into it, but it's believed that these actually were his very first two Pokemon as Eevees. The main protagonist. And he raised them as Eevees into Umbreon and Espeon. But this is... Yep. He's, according to the developers, they made the main character at the age of 17, and that's what the target audience was for this game. I still can't believe Pokemon actually allowed them that either. Yeah. This is a dark-ass game. I agree. Well, don't get me wrong, I love what they did. But the developers actually went into the game with no knowledge of anything about Pokemon, with whether it came to type advantages, disadvantages, or even names. So they had to get a lot of help from the Pokemon company itself. But they were tasked with making this game, and it was extremely well received. Well received enough to make a sequel. The sequel is Pokemon XD Gale Darkness, where it's focused 5 years in the future, and the main Pokemon it's focused around is Shadow Lugia. This one was actually more of a favorite of mine. I intend on recording for this one and XD Gale of Darkness. XD Gale of Darkness has focused a lot on the faults that this one had, and on top of that, it also has more Shadow Pokemon. There are Wild Pokemon, though very few encounters. Story's a bit longer. Yep. But they did actually add it. They did actually add Generation 4 teasers with Munchlax and Bonsly before Diamond and Pearl were even announced. And that's where the introduction of Shadow Pokemon came from. Shadow Makuhita. Now, because I am so bad at actually catching Pokemon in this game compared to other games with how it works, I am actually using the 100% catch cheat, even though this one's always guaranteed to be 100% catch. But that's what I'm going to be using throughout this game, so I don't have to frickin' worry about bashing my head against my computer desk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this Shadow Pokemon as well as my second one, and then I am going to decide to call it for this recording. I'm just making a recording for YouTube, but yeah. Darn it, but you're good. You snagged my Pokemon. Yes, I did. Alright. So now it's time to choose between grass, fire, and water. I'm going fire. Yep. Lava and Grimer. Shadow Quilaba. Time to get my prize. And down to his last Pokemon. I'm also going to check my inventory because there's also a chance of every Shadow Pokemon you snag being shiny. It's rare, but there's a chance. I actually managed to do that with a Mantine once. This is a, oh yeah, it's a Shadow Pokemon, so we're not going to know its natures. Alrighty, well, time to head to the next town, and then I'm going to call it for that recording, for this recording. Rio Game Tower. I don't know why the game has us come here first before we actually make it to the next town that we have to go to, but I guess it's just a pit stop. And here's the next town. You can already tell that Kayla's gonna be a pain in the dick. Alrighty. I'm going to save my game, and then we are gonna call that it for this first playthrough. Took me 30 minutes to get through all that.